The Faerie Queene is an epic romance about marriage. The structure is about a marriage between young Prince Arthur and the Faerie Queene, which never occurs. Yet on the way in Book 1 we'll see the marriage of Red Cross Knight and Una. Red Cross on the way discovers that he is really a human, and not an elf as he thought, and in fact will become St. George. Una, the daughter of Adam and Eve and heir to a lost Christian empire, also represents the true church. A sacred tree and spring also feature in the story, along with plenty of uncanny dreamlike landscapes, a green world rooted in Spenser's Ireland. C.S. Lewis claimed a therapeutic effect for this overlay landscape. Lewis wrote that Spenser's work is one like a growing thing, a tree, like the world ash tree itself, with branches reaching to heaven and roots to hell. To read him is to grow in mental health. There is a real affinity between his Faerie Queene, a poem of quests and wanderings and inextinguishable desires, and Ireland itself, the soft, wet air, the loneliness, the muffled shapes of the hills, the heart-rending sunsets. To a Christian Platonist, these formless longings would logically appear as among the sanest and most fruitful experiences we have, for their object really exists and really draws us to itself. The missing central figure of the Faerie Queene is related to Queen Elizabeth I, Spenser's queen. Yet his love for his wife Elizabeth is also celebrated in the poem, and there are marriages of rivers as well. There is also a network of remembered traditions of classical, Celtic, and biblical origin, as well as of Spenser's own invention, or things gathered from other authors, including Chaucer, his main poetic mentor. Powerful feminine figures such as Una, the Faerie Queene, and Dame Nature, who presides over the ending of the whole work, evoke in part both the ancient Irish goddess of the land, or sovereignty, Mother Earth, and the Virgin Mary, the Mother of God. Sovereignty is a term in early English related to the term dominion in the King James Bible, which describes the rule given to humans by God in the creation story. Although Christians in Spenser's day believed that such rule was hurt and corrupted by the fall, they also saw Christ as reestablishing a type of dominion based on giving up sovereignty, on losing one's life to save it. This is related to the complex symbolism of marriage as a metaphor for nature in the poem, a nature that in part is symbolic of God. Marriage in Spenser's day was more of a community tradition than a link between individuals as it is today. Our modern understanding of marriage in terms of individualized romance and individual rights became codified partly as a result of industrial capitalist economies, the spread of contraception, freer divorce laws, and so on. In Spenser's day, marriage was more focused both on community tradition and on embodied biological aspects of procreation. The modern individualized sense of sexual identities had not yet developed, and definitions now being extended to same-sex couples and potentially polyamorous relationships. In Spenser's day, the community and biological aspects of marriage identified it with nature.